Jonathan and Primero into the wall, then just about avoids it. Is history going to repeat itself? Yes, it is. Off the track, into the wall they go. They go down like Skittles. Formula Danny is the winner of the first ever Squad Sprint Series. He is the champion.
Hello and welcome to the Bahrain Grand Prix for round 6 of the 2020 Squad Sprint season. I'm your commentator for today, Hayden Gullis, and I'm joined in the commentary box by the one and only Callum Knighton.
Hello, we're back for round 6. We're at the halfway point of this season for the Bahrain International Circuit. We've had a rollercoaster of a ride so far this season. Let's see what Bahrain can do for us today.
It's been a really exciting season. Lots of different types of winners. Remember, 25% races, damages on, and regular track limits. So carnage is always going to be key around these races. But there's been exciting throughout. We've had lots of different race winners and maybe even a new one today. Let's wait and see how it goes. What are you looking forward to most?
Definitely the strategy. The strategy has been dominating so far in this season. People stopping on lap 1, it's good to see.
Let's go into grid then. It is Karki who lines up in pole position, 0 points scored so far, with Niren alongside him in second. Then we have Isaac Gillison in third, with Raggy lining up in P4. On the third row of the grid, we have Arava, and alongside him is Joe Aeterno Wilkes.
Row 4 is made up with the two Toms of Tommy Martinez and Tom Lartilo. Row 5 is TRL Limitless with Alex Gillen lining up in P10, with Simon Vigang in P11 and Tim Marduk in 12.
Right to the back of the grid then, this is where we get to the tasty drivers. In P13 is James Baldwin, and then it's the young Hypers who lines up in P14 with Daniel Bresnay right at the back of the grid, as he is our championship leader. So, that is the grid ahead of us. Callum, who is your money on?
Well, we've seen Danny, who has been brilliant at coming through the field so far this season. He's been quite calculated with the way he picks his moves through the content creators. Hypers is yet to win a race this season, and we're already halfway through. He has been leading the championship at some points, so let's see what he can do as well. James, also a race winner so far this season, but you know, this track is very good for overtaking some long straights, 3 DRS zones. Let's see what we can do.
I'm going to quickly say I want Joe Aeterno Wilkes to win the race, and there is no bias in that. Right, let's get into the Bahrain Grand Prix as we line up on the grid on board with Daniel Bresnay. As the lights come on now, we go to 4, 5 red lights on board with Isaac Gillison, and the lights go out and we are off. And it's a good start there from Isaac Gillison, but also from Niren on the right hand side. Karki holding the lead, but a great start from the Mercedes of who is that? Raggy up the inside down towards turn 1. Karki holding it around the outside, but Niren moves up into the lead of the race. Who would have thought that? The FIFA YouTuber getting the best of everybody. It looks like Isaac goes round. He has dropped all the way down to the back of the field with contact. I think that was with the Mercedes of Tom 97. Arava up into third place. We've also got a Haas, that's Veloce Storm up the inside, down in towards what is turn 3. Oh, Aeterno is round. My money was on him, but looks like I've jinxed him there. As round goes Joe Aeterno Wilkes. He's down to 14, but Niren still holding the lead. But how long can he hold it for? He's had a little bit of a bump there from Karki, but he still holds on to position. Karki in second, Arav in third, with Raggy just behind this battle in fourth. But Niren goes very deep there into the very tricky turn 10. Horrible corner, catches Niren out, and he drops way down into fifth position. Arav now leading the pack with Raggy in second. Karki going side by side with Veloce Storm, but can hold it around the outside. Great defensive maneuver there from Karki to hold in position. And even Niren's having a go on the GT Sport driver of Veloce Storm. Can he hold it in towards the end of the first lap? Karki having a go on Raggy now, who's also having a go. There is a McLaren around. The only McLaren on the grid is Niren, so unfortunately he's had a spin as well. A lot of drivers having a lot of collisions very early on in this race, as we've got a 3-way battle, maybe even a 4-way battle for the lead of this race on lap 1. Raggy up into lead for the time being, but Karki and Arava will be getting into that slipstream, trying to get position. Arava tucking right behind the Mercedes, trying to find a gap. Will he go to the inside? He forces his way up the inside, goes in nice and tidy there for Arava. It's 4 wide, battling there in towards turn 1. Arava gets the job done. Raggy's in second, but I think Karki's going to get the better of him with a great run out of turn 2, and he holds on to second place. What an opening lap. That has been Callum, and it's not over yet.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, we've got 5 less drivers. It's one of the smaller grids so far, as Alex Gillen getting forced out wide by Veloce. Storm really getting his elbows out there. We've got 5 less drivers on the grid, but there's still a huge amount of action, a 4-way battle at the start. We've got Arav currently leading Alex Gillen back up the inside of the Haas of Veloce. Storm side by side on the exit. I think we've got Tyrrell Limitless in the mirrors as well, who is trying to jump on some sort of opportunity here, as Storm hopping over the curb through the tricky turn 10 side by side. Alex giving Tom Lartilo a little bit of a squeeze. Look at Tyrrell Limitless all in the mirrors, and we've also got James Baldwin, who's trying, look, he's very much licking his lips. He's trying to find some way through, and he's managing to do so up the inside of 3 cars through that corner. What a move from James Baldwin, still side by side with Tyrrell Limitless on the exit of that corner. Can he go all the way around the outside? Limitless is better on the brakes going into there, but a 3-way battle, 4-way battle, 5 ways if you count Tim Marduk, who's now getting involved in the background. Side by side into the final corner. Alex is still a whole lap battle with Storm. Ben getting very leery on the exit. I think we've got drivers in the pit lane already with the likes of Raggy. I think one of the Hasses as well of James Baldwin. We've got us now on board with Storm, who is trying to hound the Ferrari of Tim Marduk, and he dives up the inside. Look at that though. Ben really moving in the braking zone. I'm not entirely sure how legal that was from the Australian. Really incredible that.
Incredible battle so far. We're only 2 laps in to this Bahrain Grand Prix, and whilst all these drivers are battling about with each other, it's really great to see for the likes of Arav and Karki, who have scored very little points early on this season, to get the good results and also get that free air out the front. As we have a look at a replay of the start on board with Daniel Berezne. A nice initial launch there, getting the better of Tiamat Marduk. Never really good at starts was Tiamat Marduk. Very patient down towards turn 1, just biding his time, watching all the drivers. You know, there's always carnage at the start, so it's always best to be careful. There goes Isaac, round he goes down towards turn 2, and Daniel Berezne moves up a couple of positions. So let's see exactly what happened on board with Isaac then. So around the outside of what is Niran, and also I think Raggy was up the inside there. Karki getting the better of him, and maybe there was contact with Raggy. It wasn't Tom 97, it was Raggy. 2 unfortunately did not go into that one corner with the both of those guys, and unfortunately for Isaac, he is round. Watching on board now with Tom at 97. Maybe see what happened to Aeterno on the exit of turn 3. Tom's on the outside, and it's just squeezing. Everybody's squeezing, trying to get onto the track as soon as possible. And unfortunately, Joe goes round.
A little bit of front wing damage there for Tom 97 as well. Quite unfortunate for him. We're currently focusing on Formula Danny and Hypers, who have already made their pit stops. Quite interestingly, Danny's gone onto the softs, whilst Veloce Hypers is onto the mediums. It'll be very interesting to see if Danny can take those softs to the end of the Grand Prix. Bahrain, probably one of the hardest tracks on the calendar to pit quite early in the Grand Prix, and managed to stretch the softest compound all the way to the end of the race. Currently at the moment though, we've got Arav that's leading the race from Karki and Tyrrell Limitless. We saw him making up moves earlier on in the Grand Prix, but currently Karki staying on the back of Arav at the moment. I think these guys just are relishing on the clear air at the front, whilst obviously some of the F1 Esports drivers have pit quite early already in this race. But Karki, we're now on to the start-finish straight, and he will have a little bit of DRS assistance going down towards turn 1. Arav just looking behind, seeing what the Williams driver is going to do. Tyrrell Limitless with the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far. Arav goes defensive into turn 1. Karki trying to go around the outside. Once again, Limitless is waiting in the wings, licking his lips as well to see if he can try and make up. We've got another pit stop of the only McLaren in this Grand Prix of Niran, but we can see that Karki with the DRS assistance trying to go around the outside. Arav once again going defensive, but Arav goes quite deep into that corner. A snap of oversteer on the exit, and Karki, the Williams driver, making a fairly decent move there, and he moves up into the race lead.
These two are going to be licking their lips at the moment. Very low scorers so far in the championship, and not really performing as everyone expected them to. Arav and Karki, Karki's got good experience in other racing series, and Arav, of course, plays this game quite a lot with his career mode. So both of them scoring less points than they should have done so far this season, and want to get those points on the board. As this battle for the lead now, I think, extends down to P5, maybe even P6, with James Baldwin looking to get involved as well. As it looks like Arav goes for the move on Karki up the inside, down in towards this left-hander of turn 11, and he gets the job done for the time being. Karki just biding his time. I think both these drivers just being cautious, being patient. There's a long race ahead of them. It's only lap 4 out of 14, so a long way still left to go. But Tyrrell Limitless, he's not being patient at all. He's trying to get a move on. He knows that those esports drivers that have already pit are going to be in free air and are going to be pushing as hard as they possibly can. So he needs to get the moves done early if he can try and get a good result in this race. It looks like he's gone up the inside on Arava, down in towards the final corner, but Will these two guys get the slipstream on Tyrrell Limitless? It looks like Karki comes into the pits for the first time, and the only time what hopefully will be for him in this race is Alex Gillen trying to get the slipstream on Arava and Tyrrell Limitless. Will he go up the inside, down in towards turn 1? He tries it. He has a little bit of a look. Doesn't fully send it as they are going side by side ahead of him. There's no need to sort of risk it at this stage of the race, but he is definitely letting Arava know that he is there. As we got team radio.
Oh, no. Oh, for fuck's sake, not hards. What? I put softs on in the strategy, you dickheads. Ferrari.
Very Ferrari strategy there. As it looks like Arav gives Alex Gillen, he's getting his elbows out, giving a massive barge off the track as it looks like front wing damage there for Alex Gillen, but Benjamin Daly, teammate Marduk, getting really screwed over with the strategy there. He would wanted to go onto the soft tyres. He's now on the hard, so he's going to really struggle for grip against everybody else. It's going to be a really great performance from him if he can hold on to this position, as it looks like Raggy is getting the job done on teammate Marduk on the better tyres, on the softer tyres, but Ben might come back at it at the end of the Grand Prix if the medium tyres do not last. We're on board with Tom97. He's just on the edge of the point scoring position, but Simon Weigang round the outside there in towards turn 8. Looks like he could get the job done in the inside in towards turn 9 and turn 10, and I think he's going to get later on the brakes, which is Simon Weigang moving up into that point scoring position. Tom97 out of the points at the moment. Oh, big squeeze there from Raggy, trying to help his teammates out. He saw his teammate get overtaken. I think maybe he's thinking, you know, we're going to go for the Constructors' Championship, as Raggy really loses out there. So the plan from Raggy not working in his favour. And now he's got Veloce Storm right on his tail. He goes up the inside in towards his corner. You do not want to touch that curb, Storm. It will spit you out if you try to touch it. But he gets the job done. Moves up into P11. And Raggy, who was battling with teammate Marduk, has now lost out on 4 positions.
Crazy. I've lost count how many times we've seen drivers go 3 wide. It's been some incredible battling so far. We've got Alex Gillen currently in the pit lane as looks like Tim Marduk is fainting to go into the pit lane. Unsure why he's doing that. Simon Weigang, what a move he pulled on Tom97 round the outside earlier on the previous lap. We've got yet another almost 3 wide moment going into turn 1. Benjamin Daly very locked up going into turn 1. Simon on the inside. Tommy's looking to capitalise on it. He's all over the curb, and now he's going to be trying to make a move on Tim Marduk. Wow, I'm getting flashbacks to 2012 with this sort of move with a Ferrari trying to, this time a Ferrari is defending the position, but Tom is all over the back. Storm is now capitalising on this, and this is not what Simon needs. As a bit of contact, Storm is very much getting his elbows out in this race, and yet another driver with a little bit of front wing damage, this time for Veloce Storm. Yet more contact with Simon Weigang. This is not going to be helping Simon Weigang, as Hypers and Danny are already up the field, and Simon's already made his one and only pit stop, once again going onto the soft compound of tyres. So maybe struggling to get to the end of this Grand Prix, and he's all over the back of the Mercedes of Tom97. He's going to try and go up the inside and just leave Tom out to dry, but still side by side going up the hill, and Tom just holding it on the inside, Simon all the way around the outside, and Tom's lost the rear end. As you said, Hayden, earlier on, you do not want to be touching that inside curve because it is very slippery.
It will spit you out. If you touch it, it's just going to be absolute disaster for you. Arava looked like he got maybe screwed over with the pit stop there. Held for quite a while at the end of it for some strange reason, but he does come out of the pits now. Where will he filter out? It's going to be very important for Arava's season. He's not really had the luck so far this season, but he will be trying to get a good result. Looks like maybe his teammate's going to get the better of him, and Simon Weigang. Down they come in towards turn 1. Simon Weigang maybe go round the outside of turn 1. Arava holding on to position, and if Ben can fight with Simon, then it can give Arav a little bit of a gap, but it looks like that's not going to work out for him. Those hard tyres really causing teammate Marduk issues, as Simon's going to go maybe round the outside of turn 3 if he can hold it. Arav holding the inside line again. Oh, Ben into the back of Simon, and yet again another driver with front wing damage. I'm struggling to count how many drivers have front wing damage, but it makes it very interesting. It means that everybody has still got a chance apart from the guys up the front. It's interesting to see as well. We've not really focused on them too much, but Hypers and Formula Danny into the lead of the race as Simon Weigang makes a very nice switchback on Arav, which is going to be very painful for Arav because we know he loves the switchbacks, the dreams move, as he slides it up the inside into the very tricky turn 9, turn 10 corner combination. But unfortunately, it does not work out on Simon. But teammate Marduk, will he go for his teammate? Are team orders in play here? Teammate Marduk on the harder tyres. You know, the strategy's not really with him. Will he go for the move on his teammate, or will he bide his time? These guys want to score more points than they want to try and fight against the esports guys. Benjamin Daly's definitely said that so himself. He wants to really take it to the Esports guys, and he's doing a good job of it so far.
Yeah, for sure. And to be fair play to Arav, just sending one up the inside of Simon. He was not scared and did not care who he was battling with. Now onto the back of the Ferrari train is Veloce Storm, who is also, again, as said, nursing a bit of front wing damage, and he's going to get the DRS open. Can he launch one on the Australian? He's going to be all over the back. He's tucking right into the slipstream and pulling out very, very late. He's already put his front wing on the line once in this race, and Arav goes very deep into the corner. Yet another bit of contact. Storm is loving life. He's thinking it's dodgems at the moment, and he now goes round the outside of Tim Amada. Look at the speed with that DRS. He pulls easily clear of Benjamin Daly and moves up into P8 at the moment, scrapping for these lower end points paying positions. Tom 97 currently holding 10th, a little bit further down the field, but Storm is really making the Ferrari driver's life an absolute misery at the moment, really getting his elbows out. As mentioned, you said, haven't really seen much of these two guys, Danny and Hypers. This is very normal to see from these two. They are within a good 5/10 of each other, but they just don't make moves. They try and go to the very end of the Grand Prix, try and conserve as much ERS, tyres, fuel, and then they'll try and launch it right at the end. But Hypers at the moment is in a position to win the Grand Prix.
Currently leading the race, yes he is, but Formula Danny right behind him, obviously the Season 1 champion, and it's interesting to see about Storm. I know exactly how aggressive he can be after my race against him in Japan, but you know, you've got to give it back to Veloce Storm, otherwise he will get the better of you. As Veloce Hyper still leading the ways, we're going to go on board now with Alex Gillen. He's hunting down Veloce Isaac and Raggy. These guys battling for P11, just trying to see maybe if someone makes a mistake further up the field, they could maybe capitalise and get a point there or thereabouts, as it looks like Alex Gillen going to tuck into the slipstream now of Veloce Isaac. Raggy just ahead of him at the moment, then looking up further down the field, it is his teammate Tom 97, and then it's the Ferrari of Team at Marduk, Storm and Arava up ahead. So maybe there is a bottle in those guys. As Alex Gillen getting the DRS, he's moving to the right hand side, he's going to go up the inside of Veloce Isaac, very late on the brakes, so close to the rear end of the Ragmeister there, but he holds on to position, gets up ahead of Veloce Isaac and moves up into P12 as now Veloce Storm going on the attack of Arava, or squeezing up the inside. He wants that inside line. So aggressive is Veloce Storm. Arava, will he give it back to him? Oh, he's over the curb. He's out of shape. Can he hold it? Yes, he can. Just about, but that's going to lose him a lot of time. But luckily for Arava, he has managed to hold the position. He's not had a lot of luck this season. He's had a lot of collisions with a lot of drivers, and unfortunately in those races, he's usually been DNF'd or been out of the points. This time he's managed to hold it. P9 would be a great result for Arava if he can hold it. As Alex Gillen's got Isaac all over the back of him, and he's also going on the attack of the Ragmeisters. They go down now in towards the long straight that leads on to turn 11. DRS is enabled here. Will Alex going to go to the outside, the inside? He's picking the outside line. Can he make it stick right around the outside? Remember, he's got front wing damage from earlier on, so if he can make this stick, that is an incredible move up the inside. Now don't touch that curb, Alex Gillen, which he doesn't, and it looks like he might get the job done as he goes in towards the right-hander, and yes, he has, but can Raggy come back at him?
Lovely little move from Alex Gillen there, right around the outside, as we're now back on board with Tim at Marduk. Even though he's on these hard tyres, he's still very much getting his elbows out and staying with Veloce Storm. And now, obviously, Ben Daly capitalising on Arav's incident with Storm. Wow-wee, that was a very, very close one. It didn't even look like Ben wanted to make a move there. It just looked so much later on the brakes. But Storm, with an incredible exit once again, really showing the difference in the tyres, getting much more better traction. But Ben, once again, it's sending it up the inside, very much like his fellow Australian counterpart of Daniel Ricciardo. But side by side on the exit, Storm is going to go side by side with another Ferrari, and he nearly drops the rear Ben right around the outside. Lovely little move from Tim at Marduk. They're still side by side on the exit, dropping downhill into a very tricky braking zone. Arav now getting involved as well, and you can also see Tom 97 who's very much closing in on this battle, so he'll be rubbing his hands together and thinking, how can I capitalise in this sort of position? Oh, a little bit of contact once again. It's not the first time we've seen a little incident like that from Arav, where he's just given the car in front a little love tap, just letting him know he's there. Yeah, exactly. But going into the next braking zone, Arav very much taking the Esports line, using all the curb on the exit, but quite a hefty bit of understeer through that corner, and he's having to look at his fuel as well. But look at this. Danny's coming into the pits.
Okay, all right. Second pit stop in the race. We don't usually see this in squad sprint, especially in 25% races. Daniel Bresnay not believing in his tyres that he can take them to the end of the race. So will he be going on to a new set of soft tyres, which I believe he should be, as we've got team radio.
Oh, Danny's pitting. What? Could get a podium here.
Veloce James Very surprised that Danny has come into the pits, hoping they can get onto the podium. It looks like Simon Weigang, I believe as well, came into the pits behind Karki. He was battling with Karki, struggling actually to get past Karki as Arav goes up the inside of Veloce Storm. Great move there from Aravas. Tom97 has really joined the back of this battle. Will Arav park the bus and allow his teammate TM Marduk to get a bit of space? TM Marduk's tyres are probably going to start to come into it at this stage of the race, but a little lock up there from Benjamin Daly just allows Arav just to gain a little bit more on him. Storm right behind Arava. Will he go for the GT Sport move of if you can't send it, rear end it and get past him as Veloce Storm now trying, and there's even there's Daniel Beresne getting involved in this battle. Of course, he's just picked for a new set of soft tyres, so he's going to be absolutely rapid at this stage of the race. As Tom97, will he hold on, or will he just let Daniel Beresne go? There is probably no need to fight him. The fight is with the guys up ahead, Tom. Will he give in, or will he fight Daniel Beresne? He's probably going to fight him. You know, Tom97, you know, he wants to try and prove himself against Esports guys, so he might try and fight him, but no, Daniel Beresne up the inside made it look easy at the end of the day on Tom97, and now he's got Veloce Storm just ahead of him. Then it's going to be Arava, and then it's going to be TM Marduk. But it's a long way to go for Hypers does not come into the pits to try and get back in the fight for that race win. Of course, he was in second place, so maybe he could have just held on and settled for second, but Daniel Beresne does not want to do that. He goes up the inside on Storm, and up the inside he does in towards the final corner. Now he's moved himself up into P7. Arava is up next. Then it's going to be TM Marduk. How quickly can he get past the Ferrari of Arava? He's going to be in the slipstream. He's going to be maximising his era. No, he's not actually. He's just going in none. He's just settling in that slipstream, just allowing the car ahead to pull him along as they go down in towards turn 1. The two Ferraris right on each other's tails at the moment. But great exit there from Daniel Beresne, and Arava just sort of lets him have it, gives him the room, but now he's giving him the squeeze. The team principal against his driver, of course, for the Alfa Romeo F1 Esports team, but Daniel Beresne up the inside. Arav goes a little bit wide there, and luckily for Arav, he does not concede position as well to Storm in losing that position to Danny. But now Danny going up the inside of Benjamin Day. No, he switches to the outside. Now we'll go for the switchback. Arava will be loving that. The switchbacker dreams there for Formula Danny, and that's going to move him up into P5. Will Ben come back at him? We know that he likes to stick it on the Esports. Yes, he does, up the inside, letting Daniel Beresne know that he's there. But a great exit somehow from Daniel Beresne out the corner.
He absolutely breezed through those drivers. That was so fun to watch. It's rare that you see a battle where Danny is really mixing up with these drivers as we see yet another battle between the two Ferraris, but he absolutely breezed past Arav on the exit of turn 2, really showing his skill, his tyres, and why he is the Season 1 champion, why he's in F1 Esports, because that was so entertaining to watch. And now that Danny's got out of the way, this battle can now get back into it as Raggy has retired from the session. That's really unfortunate for the Mercedes driver as Storm is now right on the back. We've got team radio from Mercedes.
No, I've done it you. No. No way, dude. Ah. I'm out.
That
2 DNFs in a row.
That is the Ragmeister out of the race. 2 DNFs in a row, like he said. And it was interesting to see as well, sorry Callum, while you were talking, that Hypers set the fastest lap of the race despite being on those older tyres. So maybe Daniel Beresne has really messed up the strategy, which is rare to see from, of course, the F1 Esports driver to make mistakes like that, especially with strategy. As it looks like Arav giving the squeeze. No, that's Team Marduk giving the squeeze to Veloce Storm, and holding on to that position. But Storm being very aggressive. Ben also being aggressive. Up the inside goes Veloce Storm. Will-to-will battle again between these two. Ben is doing an absolutely fantastic job of holding on with those hard tyres. Everyone else, of course, on the softs or on the mediums, as James Baldwin now, he's also on the hard tyres, weirdly enough, going for a battle with Tiro Limitless. Maybe these medium tyres are starting to come to the end of their wear in this race. And now Baldwin going on the attack of Tiro Limitless. He's going to make it look easy. Oh no, it's a DRS battle. Look at them. Both slowing down, trying to get that DRS down in towards the start-finish straight. I'm not too sure which one got it in the end. I think Tiro Limitless might have just got the better of Veloce James, which he has. So now Limitless is going to get the slipstream, the DRS. He's going to be maximising his ERS as well. Up the inside, down in towards turn 1. James going to tuck over to the left-hand side, brake early, maybe go for the switchback move, which he does. Try and get the exit out of turn 1 on this long straight all the way down in towards turn 4. So here we go. James Baldwin, there's a yellow flag out in sector 3. Not really too sure what has gone on there. Veloce Isaac is out of this race. He made it so close to the end, but unfortunately, he's going to drop down a position. It's going to be a bit frustrating for the guys who are currently outside the points. You know, when they see someone DNF, they'd probably be hoping there's going to be someone up near the top of the field so they can capitalize and get a rare point in a race where it looks like it's all fallen away from them.
I mean, driver fatigue, it's only a 25% race, but we've seen that's 2 DNFs in the space of 2 laps, as we're currently right on board with Tom97, who is now currently finding himself in 8th position. He caught up to the back of the Ferraris, but then hasn't really seemed to make any sort of inroads in making some sort of attack on Tim Marduk and Arav. Looking at that as well, Arav ahead of Tim Marduk as we come to the end of the Grand Prix. This is the battle for second place still. Tyrrell Limitless is still ahead of Veloce James as we now go into the final corner, and it's Hypers who is going to take his very first victory in this season, and what a victory from him. He got the strategy right, both Simon and Danny, who did not capitalise on the strategy, and we often see that they pit on lap 1 and it just didn't work here in Bahrain. Tyrrell Limitless coming home in second, with Veloce James in third, with Karki looking home like he's coming home in P4. But what a race from the Ferraris. This is probably the most, not apart from the Toro Rosso team, the most amount of points, I think. Actually no, it'll be Alfa Romeo will be picking up the most amount of points, but Ferrari very much getting their elbows out in this race, and it's been incredible to see. Those two have put on an absolute show today.
What an absolute show from those guys. Simon Weigang crossing the line in P10. The strategy not really working out for him, or even Daniel Bresley. But let's go for the final result standings for this race. It is Hypers who, of course, takes the race win. A great, solid drive from himself, and he will take home the 25 points here today. Then we have Tyrrell Limitless, who crosses the line in second, just ahead of the Haas driver of James Baldwin. Daniel Bresley, unfortunately, getting the strategy wrong here today. He was battling, of course, for the lead with Hypers. He decided to pit then for the soft tyres. It did not work out for him. Karki with a great result. 0 points scored coming into this race. He had a few races where the luck hadn't been with him. He was getting used to the game, but now it looks like he could be on it. P5, 10 points taken home. That's going to put him in the battle for the top 10. Benjamin Daly finishing today's race in P6, taking home 8 points. Tommy Martinez in P7 with Storm in P8. Arava doing a great job today, holding on to lead, battling with some of the guys, but unfortunately it all fell down at the end, and he came across the line in P9 with Simon Weigang getting the final point and also getting an extra point for the fastest lap of the race. Then moving on to the guys who did not score points, and the first one out of those was, of course, Alex Gillen. But front wing damage really costing him. I feel like he could have been up there with the rest of the guys had he not have done that. And then Joe Wilkes, of course, with the spin very early on, not really seeing much from him. That was my money on, was Joe Wilkes, unfortunately, of course, being my teammate in this series. But yeah, no points scored there for Joe, with Niran Yusufu, FNG also not scoring any points. Then we had our DNFs, Isaac Gillison right at the end there. Disappointing for him not to score any points, and same for Raggy, no points scored for him. Then we've got the guys who did not start, but we will move on to the drivers' standings. And leading the way currently, it is, of course, Hypers running away with the championship, or is he? It's very close between the two of them. Daniel Bresley, 104 points, only 3 points the gap between the top two. James Baldwin was in that fight very early on after he got that race win in Belgium, but unfortunately it looks like the last 2 races have slipped away from him. But he did gain massively on Daniel Bresley today. Jano Opmeer, haven't seen him race for a while. He currently holds P4. Then we have Benjamin Daly fighting with the Esports guys, doing a great job at the moment. 48 points and closing on Jano Opmeer's tally. Tyrrell Limitless only started 2 races or 3 races, I think, in the season so far. 42 points already. A great showing from him. Simon Weigang on 39 P7. Then we've got Alex Gillen P8. And the 2 Toms rounding out the top 10 as we move into the bottom half of the field now. And it looks like Hayden Gullis has moved out of the top 10, with Karki moving up into that battle. Very close now for the last few positions in the top 10, as Arav also getting involved in that, getting 2 points here today as well. Joe Wilkes looking very tasty to try and get in there too. Everyone, look at all these drivers just fighting. All these drivers don't really care too much probably about fighting with the main esports guys, with the championship, but they want to get the better of each other. We all know each other very well, and we want to get the better of each other. Now moving on to the Constructors' Championship, and it is, of course, Alfa Romeo leading the way. They have 2 F1 esports drivers in their ranks, so of course they are going to be leading the way. But the Haas doing a great showing. They've got James Baldwin and, of course, Storm. This is not his game, but they are currently in second with Toro Rosso. 1 real driver in that team, Ryan Littlemore. Not really seen much from him, only scoring 1 point so far this season. P3 from Toro Rosso. Renault in P4 with Ferrari in 5th. Then we have Red Bull Racing 6th. Mercedes down in 7th, with Racing Point falling down the order in P8, with Williams in P9 and McLaren in P10. And that is going to round us up for the Bahrain Grand Prix. Callum, who's your driver of the day?
I've got to give it to Hypers. Tomek, a outsmarted Danny today. He got the strategy right. He drove a flawless race, and he got his first race win of the season. Can't complain.
Very good driver of the day. Who is your driver of the day? We want to know in the comments section below. And don't forget, if that hasn't fueled your appetite for the Bahrain Grand Prix, then we are going to have not the Bahrain Grand Prix on Sunday, of course, with our live stream, which will see the host of the likes of Lando Norris taking on Real Madrid goalkeeper Thibaut Courtois, and also golfer Ian Poulter, amongst many other names that include Stoffel Van Dorn, Esteban Gutierrez, and of course your favourite content creators. So don't forget to tune in to that on Sunday. But until then, for now, it's goodbye from me and goodbye from Callum. And the lights go out and we are off. Oh, Ben into the back of Simon. Another driver with front wing damage.
It's Hypers who is going to take his very first victory